Hi.
Alright, it's working.
In this video, I'm going to be walking you through crosswind landings and takeoffs with a student of mine recently. I generally wait for this lesson when we have actual crosswinds to work with, and that doesn't happen a lot in our hometown at our airport, so we had to wait for the right opportunity just before the check ride to really drill this in. And it was a great lesson, so I want to go through, I want to show you some of those highlights. This will be kind of lengthy. I just want to show you some of the raw footage from this lesson, maybe jump in here and there to talk about it, and hopefully you get something out of it that you can take to your own cockpit and become a better pilot for it. So, hope you enjoy these crosswind landings and takeoffs, and maybe even some taxi work. Enjoy.
15-53 Zulu. Wind 110 at Niner, gust 15. Ceiling 4,100 overcast. Visibility 10. Temperature 15, 2.10. Altimeter 2660. Landing departing runway. Pilot discretion. No.
More traffic, 2423 uniform. Takeoff runway 4, closed traffic.
Let's see, can we change that to runway 22? The windsock's favoring 22. See that?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yep. Let's do that. That's going to be easier.
Okay. More traffic, 2423 uniform. Correction, that's going to be a takeoff runway 22.
There you go. So that's what you need to determine with those weird wind directions, like 110 is, so 110 is, I mean, technically it's saying.
Yeah, it's nearly the same on both, but I mean, we see the wingsock's been swinging around, and you're right,
yeah,
it's actually
it's favoring 22 just a little bit.
Alright, I'll get down here and back next.
This will be a nice mild introduction to crosswind.
There we go.
Takeoffs and landings.
So now, as far as taxi speed, I mean, obviously we're back taxiing.
This is pretty good. I mean, it depends on the wind velocity too, right? So you just have to. You have to determine yourself, and because now we have a little bit of a tailwind, we're actually not going to be. We would have been at a very fast ground speed taking off if we would have taken off this way.
Right.
Why don't you show me a soft field takeoff, okay?
Okay.
Copy all, 230.
Still do one notch of flaps. Don't forget that part.
Yep.
Cool.
After we did that back taxi, now we're going to actually take off. So there be another radio call or no?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just another takeoff from 122.
Yep.
Okay.
There. Cool.
I'm ready. Helicopter 776 Bravo Hotel is on Beluga Lake with Foxtrot. We copy the departing helicopter. We're headed down the stairs.
So there you go now.
Okay. So now full back pressure.
Yep. And you would have done that your whole taxi.
Whole turn out there. Okay.
Turn around.
723, 260, home radio, roger, you copy traffic.
And you will need that left aileron deflection for the wind. Left.
Yep.
Yep. It will need to be in the wind.
Now you're trying to stay in ground effect there, right?
Yeah,
so it's not
try. But it might be a little wonky. Here's our washing machine. Good job. Good job controlling the airplane. Could you use some more right rudder to stay on center line?
Yep. Oh yeah, now we're getting some bounce.
Yeah, just fly the plane.
Yep.
Home radio 6 Golf Kilo with 8.
Oh, fun. This is fun.
We'll be Bradley.
Yeah, that water's starting to look rough, isn't it? Now you can feel that wind.
Yeah.
It's like there's wind shear a couple 100 feet, and now.
Yeah, as soon as we got up, yeah.
So keep that in mind to keep your pattern square, okay? Yep. I want you to look back at your runway.
Oh yeah. So wow, yep. Okay, it's good stuff.
Yep, it is good stuff.
Homer traffic 23 uniform, turning left crosswind for runway 22.
Yeah, so that departure leg and just feeling out where your track is really important. Other than that, the airplane flies pretty normal other than these bumps.
Yeah.
So you're getting a little slow.
Yep, I noticed that.
Okay. So just put the nose down.
And just kind of got to work it up to our pattern altitude.
Yep. Which we're already there, so.
Yep.
And think of that crab, because we got a big wind from this side.
Yep.
So you want to be pointing like that way.
Exactly.
Okay, because see how it's scooting us already?
I'm going to start left down, got the outside.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, you're right. This is...
It's a big crab angle,
Yeah.
but we're going that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What else you got to do?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my C-gumps. Actually, I should have done that when I dropped that power back. Carburetor, gas, undercarriage, mixture, props, seatbelt, switches, trim set.
Operator rate flight 874. Big bar IFR back to anchor. Do we have echo? 874, you want out of 875?
So you're losing it a little bit again. It's pushing it toward the runway. There you go. Now, when you make this turn and go on downwind, you have a tailwind.
So we're going to really shoot
just
it.
crank it around, like, not crank, I don't want to say that, but keep it coming around.
Just round it around.
Yep,
Don't try and
all the way.
Don't try and
Or
square.
it's going to push you all the way through final.
Gotcha, okay. Power traffic, 23 uniform, turning left base for runway 22.
You could have turned that base earlier, which you probably know, because we're pretty far out now. But this will give us a little time to work with it, a little more time to work with it.
As file, I maintain 11.
Yeah, you see it pushing us.
Yep.
2335.
And so when you're aimed toward the runway, obviously you're going to be, your nose is going to be left.
Right.
Clear back to anchor as filed.
Yeah, we're going to be left for the runway.
335 and departure 125.9. Rate flight 875. 875, we're ready to correct.
Q3 uniform is on final runway 22, touch and go. I heard them say like cleared back taxi or something.
Yeah.
So I just making sure.
Rate flight is holding short. Now we'll back taxi 22. 75, understand you've got
So
traffic
to the left.
There you go, yep.
Final for
So now that you can see that dashed line that helps us so much, that center line,
Right.
now you can really see
Where it's
where we need to be, okay?
grabbing it, yep.
So normal from here.
Right.
You might get some bumps, you might have to be a little bit more active on the controls. You got 20 degrees of flaps or 30?
That's 30.
Okay, just leave it. We'll do 20 next time, remember the reduced
Oh, okay,
flaps.
right.
And you'll have to have more authority on the power as your gusts come and go,
Yep.
okay? There you go. And then
Yep.
you got a bubble, so you just keep
kinda,
working it.
use it back.
There you go. Alright, now we're coming down here. You leave it a little power, not
Okay.
too much. A little less, little less, little less. There you go. You're aligning. Great. Okay, good. A little more. You see that?
Yep.
A little more. Aileron of the wind to prevent that drift. Wow! First crosswind landing.
Oh, we're still alive too. Alright.
Car beats in.
Car beats in.
Good job.
Got that aileron into the wind.
Yep.
Okay. Homer traffic, 23 uniform, takeoff runway 22, close traffic.
Alright, work to keep that center line even with this aileron pressure. So get that aileron pressure in there until we stop skipping. You see that?
Oh, okay. Yep, so we're going sideways there.
You feel that? Yep.
Yep.
That's your crosswind.
So what was I doing there? It's just,
It was like we got a little fast,
Uh-huh.
and then it just wanted to be up in the air, and the tires were just having a hard time. So maybe you need to just encourage it in the air a little sooner, but it gets a little wonky right there. So that's probably what was happening. We just had a lot of little burbles going on.
Over traffic rate flight 875 back.
I'm happy that my washing machine thing turned out to be
Yeah.
true, because it's so true. Good track this time off that runway.
yeah, just pick a point out here and
Much
know the
better.
plane's going to be flying sideways.
Yep, we're flying right over the lights right now, so looking back at the runway, yeah.
Yeah.
You did good on that. I wasn't helping you too much.
Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning left crosswind for runway 22.
And here it feels awkward, so we're
Yeah,
turning
so
into the wind,
Into it, yeah.
get a bunch of performance. So I think crosswinds and these weird winds is where people can get in trouble with that base to final turn, because things look different, but the airplane's just still flying through the air, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And
So
if
that's when you shouldn't be
Right.
stomping your pedal to correct stuff.
Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning left downwind for runway 22. choosing a point out here to keep going towards.
Yep.
And
So,
pattern altitude's looking pretty good.
were you putting in the corrections before I said anything for that landing?
Yeah, just to keep the plane aligned.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. I was wondering why it's so perfectly aligned. I'm like, is there no wind right here? What's happening?
Okay, so I won't carry it so far out with my downwind to base, but we'll just round out the base and final.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it a little bit normal. I mean, everything worked out. If you need to feel it out, you need a little bit of extra space in a crosswind.
Yeah.
You want more time to think it through. I'm okay with that.
Forward traffic, 23 uniform, turning left base for runway 22.
Yeah, it didn't flare that much.
At all. Yeah, shoot.
But did you feel like you aligned well? I felt like you
I think
did.
the alignment was decent.
Okay.
Radio stay
Like that flare.
Yeah, make sure you flare.
8 minutes on radio. Will you go ahead and put a note out on Beluga Lake for work in progress until 6 p.m. tonight? 8 minutes, ready, Russell.
Let's try to take off again.
Tower traffic, 23 uniform, takeoff runway 22, closed traffic. This time we're just going to keep that aileron.
It's good to have extra energy, but we just don't want extra energy on the ground.
Right.
Because here we are. We should be taking off right about now. There you go. But push it over and let it accelerate.
There we go.
Because of those gusts we're getting around here. There you go. That was a crosswind takeoff.
Pull it up and then push it over, let it kind of jump on top.
Yeah, because especially with how things were acting right here, there's just a lot of gusts and up and down.
Yep.
And I don't want it to take a slow flying airplane and slam us down on the runway.
Yeah.
Or suck the air out from underneath us with the gust that goes away.
Right.
This track's looking nice as well.
Oh, the ball center, that's good.
Yeah, it feels like it's not, right?
No, it doesn't. That's why I checked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's really critical to be coordinated in a situation like this, because this is when people can think they're coordinating the airplane when really they're working to uncoordinate it.
Right. Forward traffic, 23 uniform, turning left crosswind for runway 22.
So as you flare and you get slower in the flare, it might take a little bit more of that jambalaya recipe, okay, to get that rudder in that aileron.
When it gets real slow and mushy,
Right.
you really got
Well, your flight profile is changing a little bit, so you might need a little bit more right rudder and a little bit more aileron to the wind, and so it gets a little tricky there in those few seconds to just make sure you keep the airplane centered and aligned.
Okay. Forward traffic, 23 uniform, turning final for runway 22.
Make sure you stay in that habit of checking final. I've been checking it for you. But
Okay,
that's
yep, that's on the ECS. It's flatten out here a little bit, I'm a little fast.
Good. There we go, get it nice and aligned. Good. Steering with those ailerons, just keeping that crab. Good. Now you're looking down the runway, anticipating that flare a little bit. And left aileron, a little right rudder, a little bit more flare. That's better. Okay, and aileron into the wind. That's where it can catch you. If you get slow and you're kind of getting your wing lifted up, is you need to finish the job, make sure it kind of sticks on the runway. But that was better. Better flare, nice corrections to get it down.
So I held just a little bit of power in there. I think I should have done that, or I should have dropped it all the way out.
It's a good observation, because I think now that you're understanding how it's working, it may have been good to just have it out, because it probably didn't help you once you...
Didn't help in that last little bit there when we bubbled it back up.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if we were landing at coming the other end, then that's the kind of penetration energy I'd want with the power. But since we're not getting that same action down here, and we're using 20 degrees of flaps, we don't really need it, okay?
Right, we still have quite a bit of speed.
Yep.
Okay. Hover traffic, 23 uniform, takeoff runway 22, closed traffic.
There you go. Ooh, a little gusty there, did you feel that? So you kind of just keep that in there until you get faster, and then you can relax the aileron as needed, if you even relax it at all.
Oh, okay.
So now you're taking off, get it off the ground because we're too fast, and now you can nose it over and get fast.
Oh, there you go. So
that was a nice crosswind takeoff.
Yeah, I was pulling that ailerons out too soon. I was figuring that as we built up speed, we'd actually start rolling over with that much aileron.
Yeah, I guess, it helps to just have it all the way first, and then milk it out as needed if you do.
Right. A little bit of bump.
Good job, just command of the airplane.
Yeah, just don't let it push us up too much.
You're the boss.
Still carrying quite a bit of airspeed, so that's good.
Yep. It's so weird. It's only right there. It's really just the wind shear right there. Got an eagle down there too. I'll keep an eye out maybe next time. Make sure they're not enjoying all that mechanical turbulence down there.
Those guys are never on the radio.
I know, gosh, man. Didn't they learn?
Over traffic, 23 uniform, turning left crosswind for runway 22.
And then the wind last time wasn't as strong, like pushing us into the final, and we just kind of did a long gradual turn of the final.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be nice to just get into that final to see what our wind correction angle is.
And so that's a good question. Should we actually overshoot the runway a little bit and then aim back towards, or we're just gonna basically line straight up and then just work the nose over into the wind?
I would just. It's good airmanship to just anticipate how much roll you're going to do into the full crab.
Okay. That's good there. Hover traffic, 23 uniform, turning left base for runway 22.
Yeah, keep it a little more square for now.
Okay.
Until we're ready to turn into that, because I want to see that you have the ability to do that full 90+ degree turn.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Hover traffic, 23 uniform, turning final for runway 22.
Good. And it's scooting us in.
Yep.
We're just sticking with it, because then we're going to keep turning.
Beyond our touchdown. And we're way high.
Gonna work out just fine.
Yeah, just keep it kind of flat and let the airspeed bleed off.
Now you're not pushing rudder at all, are you? There's just like no wind right here. Here comes the wind.
Yep.
Kenai radio, November 888, Kilo Mike.
888 King.
Activate flight plan.
There we go.
1120 local.
And it's going to change on you, so you'll just
Triple Kilo Mike, come over radio,
there. Same thing will happen in the flare.
Do you need updates on airmets or NOTAMs or any of that bumpy stuff going on up the way?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
If you can tell me where to go to
now
avoid
your rudder
it,
and your aileron, a little bit more nose down.
bumpy stuff.
Whoa.
Let me take a look.
Whoa.
So maybe that power is a little bit better. Keep that in.
I don't think I can.
And just work the airplane down to where we feel like
I'm going to Anchorage, no.
we don't have those issues. So another recovery you could have done there is you could have added power.
You come up,
Since it was sinking out from underneath us,
Right.
just burp the power a little bit so we have smooth that process out just a little bit. So don't forget that is a little bit more active in this area. It's something you can use as a tool.
Okay. Well, so let me try this one with drop a little more altitude on my base.
Okay.
And then, yeah, carrying a little bit of power in.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and being on those ailerons a lot better. Yep.
Kilo Mike, looking at this, Anchorage Bowl still picking up quite a bit of low-level wind shear. Palmer's got some severe turbulence going on. Anchorage International 37 47 is reporting low-level wind shear.
So we're going to get our plus kick right here. Any second, we want to be around 80.
Wave activity going on. Another aircraft reported moderate turbulence along the hillsides. And so as you get up towards Kenai, it might probably be a really good idea to check and see if it's calmed down any before you go all the way in.
Make sure you're not stepping on that ball or anything. You were.
Yeah, I was doing right rudder.
It's tricky, man. Messes with my mind too.
So one thing I was doing, I noticed I would always carry too much speed on that base. Because in the last portion of the downwind, I would leave my power back to about 70.
Okay.
And then once I got 70, it was really easy to.
Okay, that's fine.
Found it easier to maintain.
Do it. Do what's been working for you.
Disco Bravo home radio, Roger. Additionally, Beaver just departed Soldovia, crossing over towards the north.
There are people that, I mean, another way of teaching it is you get a beam your touchdown point, and that's where you start your descent and power reduction.
Like right here then, huh?
Well, actually back there a little bit more. Beam your touchdown
right,
point.
Exactly. So
You mind if I back taxi in the gravel?
nice. I'll pull the power back just a little bit.
And go ahead, 2-3 uniform.
Thanks, Chris.
Welcome.
And she's just going to back taxi on the ground.
Yeah.
Hold short. Okay.
She'll take off probably, but she'll be gone before us.
Yep, I'll watch for her.
We'll see.
Yep. Okay, bring my power back a little bit. Power traffic, 2-3 uniform, turning left base for runway 22.
Yeah, the simultaneous reduction of your power and the turn is what makes this happen. And that's my method of teaching, is kind of almost like a power off landing from the base turn. But yeah, I mean, there are many different ways to do it.
Over traffic, 2-3 uniform, turning final for runway 22. I'm just going to flatten out here, get my airspeed where I want it.
Good. Nice crab, good.
Good.
Remember, since you're doing this approach slower, remember that power.
Right.
If it starts to drop out, just
Right, you gotta
burp
get on
it.
the power, yep.
This is looking real nice though. Just fight for whatever you want. Good. Very nice. Don't forget that power.
Yep.
Alma radio.
More left heel. Good. And full aileron.
Yep, fully.
Fuel Alma radio, Roger, 206,
Good job, man. That's all you.
There you go. Yeah,
all you.
Buying myself some time is pretty much all.
Yeah. Just be patient.
Yep.
Tell it who's boss. Let's do it again.
All right. Homer traffic, 2-3 uniform, takeoff runway 22, close traffic.
There you go. Now nose are over.
A
Yep.
little bit, yep.
Good job. See, you're getting it.
Yep.
That's a crosswind. I mean, it's a rodeo, man.
Airspeed looks good. Yeah, I like that, pushing over just a little bit to gain some speed.
Yeah, it's that extra penetration energy.
Yep.
I mean, the penetration energy with winds like this is just something, it's a tool that not a lot of people talk about, but you can use it. Good. All that was good. Takeoff was good. Landing was good. You know, sure, there's like little tiny things you could have done better. You could have been more anticipate or react better to the little movements, but you did. You did react to them, and you did kind of tell the airplane who's boss, and we fixed those things. So good job.
Forward traffic 23 uniform, turning left crosswind for runway 22.
This is a dream, getting the royal scar.
Did good on everything there. Your whole setup, everything. I think your landing was successful because your setup was so good, and it's kind of what Leif wanted. It wasn't what Chris wanted totally. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
so I always do buy myself a lot more time.
Okay, good.
That's the thing.
Just do your thing.
Yep.
I'ma shut up.
Catch me for it, see me fly.
Forward traffic 23 uniform, turning final for runway 22.
Check final. Oh, that's it. I'll be quiet.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Well done, well done. You almost lost it there at the end,
Yep.
but then you got it back. You just put that aileron in and kick the rudder, and that's it, man. That's crosswind landings.
Yeah, she was picking up on that one side.
Let's take off again.
Okay.
I need to show you some ground reference maneuvers.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to depart the pattern toward the tip of the spit. That's as far as we're going to go.
Okay. So we're going to do, what, an easterly departure?
Southerly, yeah.
Yeah,
southerly, yeah.
Forward traffic 23 uniform, takeoff runway 2, southeast departure over the tip of the spit.
And full aileron. Roll over.
Damn. You see me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it. Then try to tell me you got the wrong guy. See me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it. Then try to tell me you got the wrong guy.
Homer radio, wind check.
140 at 13.
Cool. Thanks.
That's 20 degrees to the left at 13.
Good, keeping this one square.
Forward traffic 23 uniform, turning final for runway 22. I get fixated on the runway.
Yep.
We're doing that.
morning, Homer Radio. Tower 8554 Victor's taxiing out for a northbound departure with hotel.
554 Victor, Homer Radio, roger. Traffic in the patterns, 172. Northern traffic.
All right, thank you. Where is the 172?
Uniform Homer Radio.
More right rudder, okay? You weren't aligned with the runway. You needed to get that nose around and dip your wing down. Yeah, we were just flaring and touching down. 2-3 uniform just touched down. 2-2 on the roll out to Alpha. And Deb, if you want, we can pull off on the gravel.
Oh, that's okay. I'll jump on the gravel there. I got you at sight.
Okay.
So what again?
So yeah, you didn't put in your last second corrections. You caught that you had too much power, but you didn't kick in that rudder. And you just didn't put the. Do you want to do another one? I mean,
yeah, let's do
get it down.
Yeah.
And Homer traffic 2-3 uniform. We're actually going to do one more go in the pattern, rolling runway 22. Okay, this is going to get real washing machine in here. Okay. So yep, let's get it off, and then just keep it in ground effect pretty much. There you go.
Whoops.
You got it. You got it more. There you go.
Yep.
Just be ready to get your butt kicked here.
Yeah.
Actually, looks like it's favoring runway 4 now. One 30.
Homer traffic 2-3 uniform, turning final for runway 22.
There's where we really get that gust. So you can draw out that power, a little bit more right rudder. There you go, more left aileron. More left aileron. See how it was drifting?
Yep.
You did good with your alignment. You just needed more of this to keep us from doing that. So
yeah, because we lost the center line to the right.
But I like that. I mean, you understand
that.
Yeah,
it felt good. I could. That time I could see what's going on.
Good.
You know, a lot of times when everything happens all at once, you're.
That's why crosswinds are crazy, because it's like, especially without power, and I like that you kept a little in to give yourself more time to feel it.
That definitely helps.
But it just happens so fast.
Right.
Sometimes, especially in really strong crosswinds, because you go from like needing to do this huge correction. But good job. That was good. I'm glad we ended on a high note.
Yeah, that last one felt good.
All right, and that wraps up this lesson with Leif. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on crosswind landings and takeoffs. I'm happy you were along. I hope you learned a thing or two along the way. watching these clips, I learned a lot just myself, things that I can do to improve as an instructor. You know, some high points that stood out, like using the ailerons really well on takeoff, and maybe having a little bit of power through the flare on landing. It seemed like those things really helped Leif out. Did a good job. Some good news, and this will come in a later video, you can maybe check that out by the time you see this, is Leif ended up becoming a private pilot. So he has passed on to the next phase. He ended up even buying an airplane. Really excited for him. So he's gone the full distance, and now he is off on his own. He did a great job with these crosswind takeoffs and landings, which isn't a big surprise. I hope you guys got something out of this. Make sure to go check out Angle of Attack for ground school. I'm also doing 1 minute wings. Comes out every Wednesday. Podcast. Happy to have you guys here. Hope it's making a difference, and I hope to keep seeing you around. Until next time, throttle on.
I see what you're saying. So like pulling up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just so you're not hogging the taxiway.
And there's a couple things you can go through, like the landing. I mean, you can do your flow.
Yep. So I got my carpet
But
in.
don't, I wouldn't do your checklist until you're stopped.
Right. Yeah. Not physically looking at it, but as far as the memory items.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let's pull straight up here.